I'm joined now by Pod Save America's Tommy Vietor. Tommy, we have seen a ton of scandals kind of envelop this White House over the last couple of weeks, but today we have a brand new one that surged into the news. I want to throw to a clip right now.
Breaking news, President Trump just pardoned one of the most powerful people in the crypto world, Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, who pleaded guilty to money laundering in 2023. He was sentenced to 4 months in prison after reaching a deal with the Justice Department.
And it comes after a months-long lobbying campaign from Binance to try and secure this pardon for Zhao.
All right, Tommy, your reaction to just the latest iteration of what has been just egregious, nonstop corruption at the hands of this White House?
Yeah, so Trump pardoned the CEO of a company that was fined $3.4 billion by the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department said that Binance willfully failed to report financial transactions with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Hamas.
The hat trick.
seems bad. So why, you ask, would Trump pardon this guy? Why would he want to be seen as in bed with Binance? Well, because essentially they bribed him. Binance helped facilitate this $2 billion investment into Trump's crypto company that will earn the Trump family about $80 million a year. So that was the price of this bribe.
You know, we have seen so many instances of this. Do you think people care, like when they watch all of this stuff happen, when it just kind of layers one on top of the next, on top of the next, on top of the next? Do you think it breaks through, that it's having some impact on folks?
I think the biggest challenge we have is what you just said, which is that so many of these incidents don't break through.
But by design. Like this is the Bannon model of flooding the zone with shit.
They flood the zone. They do stuff all the time. Also, I think Trump benefits from just the cynicism that he pumps into the electorate all day long, right? Like a lot of people are like, you know what? They're all corrupt. All politicians are bad. They all do this thing. Though I do think when these little details will break through to people, like the fact that this company helped facilitate a $2 billion purchase of a Trump crypto asset called a stable coin out of nowhere, making it one of the biggest stable coins in the world. It makes no sense. And then months later, this guy gets a pardon. It's like it could not be more blatant and brazen, the corruption.
I think the problem is that it is a little difficult to be explaining all of that. Yes. And unless you're a regular news consumer anyway, like if you're a regular news consumer and this story, this niche story is breaking through, you probably already have some political thoughts anyway. Like you probably already lie somewhere on the political spectrum, and it's going to either impact you greatly, as does everything else, or it's going to have no impact on you because you've decided that Trump is infallible. I guess our job right here is to make sure that all of these individual instances continue to break through, because they're all a small part of a larger whole, which is that Donald Trump swept into office amid these promises of law and order and stemming the corruption happening at the hands of the Biden crime family. Right. And yet now we're seeing daily instances of this administration just engaging in out and out corruption. I mean, taking a $400 million jet from Qatar and then retrofitting it to the tune of $1 billion on the backs of American taxpayers.
And then keeping it.
And then keeping it.
If he leaves.
Having Kristi Noem take $173 million worth of 2 Gulfstream jets.
She needs those. She needs to fly in comfort.
In fairness to Kristi Noem, she does need to fly in comfort. That cosplaying doesn't come at a low cost.
Yeah, you get to Party City all over, Spirit Halloween all over the globe.
So there are just instance after instance after instance. We've seen these crypto dinners. We've seen Trump double his net worth. We've seen, of course, the ballroom, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I think that even though this may be a niche story, it is a small part of a much more obvious, larger whole, which is that this administration proudly and overtly traffics in corruption so that they can enrich themselves.
Yeah, and look, remember the most depressing part about this is the Supreme Court said it's totally fine. He's immune from any prosecution for anything to do with the pardon power. So that sucks. But I do think it's on us to tie this into a bigger political story, which is that Donald Trump came into office and now he's looking out for his billionaire friends and people that give him money, and you're getting screwed. The government is closed. What is he doing? He's pardoning a crypto billionaire who is funneling money into his pocket. He's not leading negotiations to reopen the government. He's not leading negotiations to make sure that your healthcare premiums don't double. He's not doing anything to deal with inflation. He's just doing this stupid tariff bullshit. So that's the story that Democrats need to tell. It's not any one thing. It's making it a broader narrative.
I think the most overt example is Donald Trump suing the federal government, suing himself basically, so that he can give himself $230 million
he deserves that money.
As damages, as punitive damages, compensation for the fact that he was investigated and prosecuted by the federal government, where, by the way, all of it was completely well-founded, and they found evidence of the exact thing that they were investigating and prosecuting him for. You worked in the Obama administration, an administration rife with scandals like what color suit President Obama was wearing.
That was a bad day.
And the kind of
Seven almond scandal. Remember that one?
I actually don't remember that one. I was going to say the mustard.
Almonds or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there was the mustard. That was bad.
Yeah, Grey Poupon?
Grey Poupon.
Yeah, way too highbrow. Just
he hates ketchup, and he really scolds people that eat ketchup.
Yeah,
Obama does.
Well, I'm just curious, when you see a scandal like this one where Trump is just deciding to dip his fingers into the U.S. Treasury and pay himself $230 million this time, and I mean, recognizing the fact that the only people standing in the way of that payment going through or not are Todd Blanche, his own personal criminal defense attorney, and Pam Bondi, handpicked because when she was Florida Attorney General, she was deciding whether or not to investigate Trump University, opted not to after her PAC received a $25,000 payment from Donald Trump. So those are the two people in charge of deciding whether or not Donald Trump gets this payment. I'm curious, from your vantage, having worked in the Obama White House, what it would have been like had Obama decided to just pay himself from the U.S. Treasury.
I mean, what I think when I see these stories is, man, what a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? There's so many secrets I could have sold. There's so much access we could have peddled. You know, like the hosts of Fox News shows would have been like in front of the White House lighting themselves on fire if this had happened. It would be a scandal until the end of time. Like, this is, Brian, where I think the Democrats were really hurt by not controlling the media. You know, like Fox News, all these right-wing outlets, conservative radio, all of this entirely new press corps that the Pentagon has apparently handpicked since they kicked all the real reporters out. Like, those guys are
you suggesting that Tim Pool and Alex Jones and
InfoWars covering the Pentagon
is not going to be a legitimate press corps for the Pentagon?
It is crazy. And it shows the power of propaganda, because Fox News isn't going to cover this pardon today. They're not going to cover the lawsuit Donald Trump is waging against his own country. But if a Democrat did it, they would cover it nonstop. They would have roadblocks, specials about all the corruption happening. And, here we are.
On the Pentagon thing, just as a quick aside, what does that do to the U.S.'s foreign policy if there is basically a press corps that no longer operates as news, but just straight up operates as propaganda? Tim Pool posted something where he basically said, if there's some story to look into, we'll of course look into it and defer to our viewers who want this, kind of investigative journalism, but we don't do investigative journalism, so chances are it's just going to be that we regurgitate whatever the White House feeds us.
Yeah, he was like, I just want the press releases. I basically don't care. I mean, look, the Pentagon press corps, they're called resident Pentagon press corps, the people a lot of them have worked there for decades. And the reason everyone wants a strong Pentagon press corps is because the Pentagon budget is nearly $1 trillion. They decide whether we go to war. They can lie about intelligence, as we saw in Iraq. We are bombing boats off the coast of Venezuela, and there's real concern that we might be heading headlong into a regime change war with Venezuela. You want a strong Pentagon press corps in that building asking tough questions, like ferreting out corruption, figuring out what the hell is going on. And for fucking this goofy little douche with a beanie, Tim Pool, to suggest that like he's just going to sit there and be this pliant regurgitator of press releases. It's terrible. It's terrible for MAGA, by the way.
And that's what I want to dig into, because, if you're blocking access from all of these outlets, usually the Trump administration would be more deferential to figuring out how to get attention. Is this not counterintuitive in terms of the fact that they're blacking out all of these people who truly do? I mean, like, sure, Tim Pool and Alex Jones will have, some contingent of an audience, but there's a massive audience out there who still consumes, legacy media as a whole.
As a whole, yeah.
And so how does that not conflict with their strategy of just wanting attention from everybody?
Yeah, I really do think this makes Pete Hegseth look incredibly weak. I don't think he's done a single briefing, or maybe one briefing for the press corps. Like, his spokesman doesn't brief the press. They look scared. They look like they are worried about too much scrutiny. They look like they're not doing things that are above board. So I do think they will have a harder time getting their message out. The Pentagon press corps will not stop reporting on the things they are doing, because that is their job. They just won't be able to do it from the Pentagon. And it's also not clear whether these reporters who had their badges stripped will be able to like travel with Hegseth when he goes on trips, or access other military facilities in other parts of the world. I mean, it could be it could make it incredibly difficult for these people to do their jobs.
Is there a world where this backfires because now you've created such a hostile, acrimonious relationship with the people who are covering you, and it creates a bigger incentive structure for those people to say, hey, clearly you've got something to hide, maybe I should dig harder and deeper?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, these are dogged reporters. They're going to do their jobs no matter what. Hopefully, this incentivizes them to go even harder at the Trump administration. But also, it may incentivize people inside the Pentagon who are like career military to start speaking out more, because they know this is wrong. And a lot of them will be greatly bothered by Hegseth just destroying their relationship with the press and like traditional role of the media and the transparency that is expected of the Pentagon.
Well, that was the other part that I wanted to talk about, is the fact that people within the Pentagon who clearly know that this is wrong, is there more incentive for them then to say, okay, if there's not going to be some traditional relationship between the press and the Pentagon, I'll create that. I have an obligation, a duty to create that myself. And so there's, more likelihood that some information will be leaked, because they know that, okay, these reporters are put in a tough spot. They're not going to get the same access that they were going to get before, and so maybe I meet them a little bit further halfway than we would have met otherwise.
It's very possible. I certainly hope so. I mean, I think that, look, the people who signed up for a career in the military did so like swearing an oath to the Constitution. They are not. They don't want a king, and so hopefully they will act accordingly. I will say though, it comes with great risk, because this is a super paranoid Department of Defense, or Department of War. They're super paranoid. They're constantly trying to ferret out leaks. They're constantly, pointing the finger and firing people based on suspected leaking without even having evidence. Even though, by the way, Pete Hegseth's like putting classified information into signal chats that included Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of The Atlantic, like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard someone do. But if you get busted doing this stuff, you could get fired. You could go to jail. So there's a lot of risk here. And
finally, on this national security front, can you talk about the legality or illegality of Trump's decision to just kind of, by fiat, blow all these ships up that are off the coast of Colombia or Venezuela?
There's no legal authorization. There is none. There has to be some sort of authorization by Congress. And the Trump administration is just asserting that the people in these boats are part of cartels or narco-terrorists, I think is what they're being called, and just blowing them up. And in the aftermath of these strikes, I think there have been 6 or 7 of them so far, the president of Colombia was like, hey, there was a Colombian citizen on one of those boats. I'm told that he is just a fisherman, that his boat was in distress, that he put out a distress signal, and he was murdered anyway. And so, look, I think that what is happening is extrajudicial murder, like period, paragraph. Like if you see someone smuggling drugs in open water, the thing you should do is interdict that boat, board it, arrest them, and then prosecute them.
Yeah.
The idea that you can just murder someone for suspected drug trafficking is absolutely insane. And I like, if Donald Trump leaves office and we have a new administration, like, people should go to jail for what is happening right now. And apparently it's all part of a strategy being executed by Marco Rubio to topple the current regime in Venezuela, to get rid of Maduro. So this is a regime change operation, the kind of thing that Donald Trump told us Republicans shouldn't have been doing for decades and was stupid and like that MAGA was against.
Yeah, and yet this is a recurring theme where Trump runs on some idea that he's not going to do something that happened in the past.
Yep.
He's going to be the law and order president. He's going to restore fiscal responsibility. All of it just complete bullshit.
Nonsense.
Just a pretext to be able to come into office and not just continue those policies, but continue them to the nth degree.
Yep.
With that said, for those who are watching right now, please help support independent progressive media. If you're not yet subscribed to Pod Save America's YouTube channel, I'm going to put that link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. Help build up this ecosystem and get all of this kind of content into the algorithm. Tommy,
gotta be Tim Pool.
Gotta be Tim Pool.
Gotta be Tim Pool. That's so sad that we're losing.
It is really sad.
That hurts my heart.
We'll leave it there. Tommy, thanks for your time.
Thanks, buddy.